Hi, I'm Nat.
And I'm Guy. And we had Jason Statham on the thumbnail there.
Yes, why? Because I don't know.
He had the #1 movie, The Working Man. So it was obviously an action. But we also did watch, what was that series we watched over the weekend? Adolescence?
Yes, we finally watched it because we will make a video in Spanish about it, but we'll also talk a little bit about other stuff.
It was phenomenal.
It's good.
It was phenomenally filmed, but there was a lot of propaganda in it.
Yes.
Feminist propaganda, I would say. But
That's
we'll talk
the main
about it.
issue, yes.
We'll talk about it in a bit.
Yes.
Why don't we get to the 20 minutes in Spanish
15.
first? Sorry, 15 minutes in Spanish.
Sure. Give me 1 second. Ahí estamos. Buenas noches. ¿Cómo les va a todos? ¿Me esperaré a que lleguen más o ya nada más empiezo así? Déjame ver si alguien ha dicho algo, ¿no? Pues es lunes, entonces siempre todo es más callado en lunes porque nadie quiere regresar a la vida cotidiana, en especial porque pues me parece que no hubieron clases este viernes pasado, entonces sí da más flojera regresar cuando, por lo menos para los que tienen hijos, cuando tuvieron por lo menos un poco de más que hacer el viernes para entretenerlos, supongo. Pero algo de lo que sí quiero hablar y empezar con eso, y que tiene que ver con México por primera vez, es que México prohíbe la comida chatarra en las escuelas y estas serán las sanciones y alimentos permitidos. Y mientras no me encanta echarle flores o decir que están haciendo todo bien al gobierno mexicano, porque es rara vez que estoy de acuerdo con lo que hacen, por lo menos en esta ocasión sí les puedo echar un poco de flores, por lo menos, porque han decidido, además de todo lo de los sellos y lo de quitar a los dibujitos de empaques, como pasó en años pasados, y no se sabe, o no sé, por lo menos no pude encontrar bien cuál ha sido el impacto real de todas estas decisiones que tomaron por intentar mejorar la salud de los chamacos. Pero ahora están prohibiendo la comida chatarra en escuelas. Y, pues, ¿qué quiere decir esto? ¿Y qué tipo de comida chatarra? El 29 de marzo entró en vigor en México la prohibición de venta de comida chatarra en todas las escuelas del país. Con esta medida, el gobierno busca reducir los altos índices de obesidad infantil y juvenil para, de esta forma, promover una alimentación saludable entre los estudiantes. Y está bien y puede ser que sí termine sirviendo y sí termine haciendo efecto, pero creo que todo lo que hay detrás y de fondo, eso no lo van a curar con esto y ahorita voy a hablar sobre eso. Pero según la encuesta nacional de salud y nutrición del INEGI, el 37% de los niños entre 5 y 11 años padecen de obesidad, una cifra que resulta bastante alarmante y que ha llevado a la implementación de este nuevo programa Vida Saludable, impulsado por el gobierno federal y que se propuso desde el mandato del presidente AMLO y ahora entra en vigor. Entonces, ¿qué está prohibido en las escuelas? Según la Ley General de Educación, las cooperativas y tiendas escolares no podrán vender alimentos ultraprocesados ni con altos contenidos de azúcar, grasas saturadas, grasas trans y sodio. Y los productos restringidos incluyen refrescos y bebidas azucaradas, frituras, dulces y chocolates, pasteles y bollería industrial, botanas y comida rápida como hamburguesas, hot dogs y pizzas. Se busca evitar que los estudiantes tengan acceso fácil a estos productos dentro de sus centros educativos. Y lo que sí está... déjenme ver las multas. Según el acuerdo publicado en el Diario Oficial de la Federación, se calcularán en unidades de medida y actualización, cuyo valor en 2025 es de 113 pesos. Las multas pueden ir desde los 11,314 pesos hasta 1,697,100 pesos para personas, escuelas, etcétera, que pues no cumplan con la ley que les están poniendo. Y lo que sí está permitido, que pues es bastante menos, incluye frutas y verduras frescas, cereales sin azúcar añadida, avena, maíz, legumbres como frijoles y lentejas, tubérculos sin azúcar añadida como papa y camote, productos lácteos bajos en grasa. Y aquí tengo un punto sobre lo cual voy a hablar ahorita: proteínas animales como pollo y pescado asado, agua natural como única bebida autorizada. Y busca promover el consumir solamente agua natural a través de poner bebederos, que también pues, es importante porque, como sabemos, por lo menos los que vivimos en México, conseguir agua potable que no esté contaminada pues toma un poco más de esfuerzo que nada más abrir la llave, como en Canadá o en Estados Unidos. Entonces es bueno que se motive y se hagan cosas para que estudiantes y niños principalmente puedan tener acceso a agua potable y que no esté contaminada, que es difícil de encontrar en pues por lo menos en la Ciudad de México, y por lo cual se sabe, y gracias a varios documentales y varias cosas que han sido documentadas también, el tomar refrescos y el tomar en especial, por ejemplo, Coca-Cola y así, es porque es difícil a veces en, por ejemplo, pueblos rurales o en sectores de la ciudad donde no hay filtración de agua o sistemas de filtración de agua o hasta agua potable embotellada que consumir. Entonces, por eso es más fácil encontrar una Coca-Cola, un refresco que ya tiene el agua purificada, que encontrar agua normal, natural para tomar. Entonces, eso también es alarmante y preocupante, y pues obviamente hay intereses de por medio por parte de las grandes refresqueras, en especial en México, porque México es uno de los países que más tienen influencias, digamos, dentro del gobierno o dentro de personas que se dedican a hacer leyes, que están involucradas también con refresqueras o con personas que producen este tipo de productos. Y mientras la iniciativa es buena, y sí, pues no es bueno que los niños anden comiendo azúcar y comida chatarra todo el tiempo, algo que es más importante aún, me parece a mí por lo menos, es sí educar a los niños, pero también a los padres. Y los padres, en la gran mayoría, o no tienen tiempo, siempre están trabajando, o se quedaron con ideas, pues, ya de hace mucho tiempo sobre qué significa comer saludable, qué es bueno, qué no es bueno, o pues nada más también los niños se pueden ir a un Oxxo y comprarse todo esto que está prohibido o esconderlo y meterlo a la escuela escondidos, o bueno, o esconderlo y meterlo a la escuela escondido, o pues comérselo después, y que si los papás no les dicen nada acerca de eso, también, o no les explican por qué es malo, pues también ahí hay un gran problema, porque nunca van a entender por qué está prohibido, solo van a ver, está prohibido, pues ahora lo quiero más, y ahora lo voy a usar como parte de mi rebelión, por ejemplo, adolescente. Entonces, y mucha gente no sabe, por ejemplo, que muchos de los químicos que se usan para hacer comida ultra procesada, ya sean papitas, ya sea cereal, etcétera, pueden causar cosas más allá de nada más que sean no naturales. Por ejemplo, muchos de los colorantes que se usan en cereales y en papitas, en todos se usan los colorantes, pueden han sido ligados a cáncer, han sido ligados a hiperactividad en niños. Muchas de los aditamentos y cosas extra que se les pone a la comida, por ejemplo, productos de soya que a veces ni sabías que estaban involucrados en la comida que te estás comiendo. La soya se usa como para emulsificar o para hacer como más viscosas las cosas, o para darle más volumen. A veces hasta se lo ponen, por ejemplo, a carne molida, porque no te das cuenta, es bastante insaboro e incoloro. Entonces se usa como aditivo y en comida procesada. Y lo que hace eso, y lo que ya se ha investigado bastante de los efectos que tienen ciertos productos de soya en la comida y en el cuerpo humano, es que incrementan los niveles de estrógeno. Entonces, ¿qué quiere decir eso? Quiere decir un cambio hormonal completo, que pues no es natural para ya sea mujeres o hombres, pero en especial hombres y niños pequeños, y en parte ha sido ligado también a el hecho de que está, por ejemplo, cayendo la testosterona en hombres a nivel mundial. Tiene también que ver con los químicos con los que interactuamos, y es algo de lo que la gente nada más no está enterada. También a lo que quería venir rápido donde dice productos lácteos bajos en grasa, y a esto me refería cuando dije que tiene mucho que ver también con, pues, mitos o cosas que antes eran ciertas o que se pensaba que era la forma en la cual actuar, en especial sobre productos, por ejemplo, lácteos o de carne y así. Me movieron. Productos lácteos y de carne así. Es que todo lo bajo en grasa, todo esto que salió más o menos a la moda en los 80s y en los 90s, cuando la grasa se volvió básicamente el enemigo número uno de todos los nutricionistas y todos los doctores mundialmente, casi. Lo que empezaron a hacer las compañías, por ejemplo, voy a tomar el yogurt como ejemplo. Lo que empezaron a hacer las compañías es que querían ofrecer opciones bajas en grasa, porque las grasas saturadas y las grasas trans son lo peor que hay, y comer carne roja es lo peor que puedes hacer porque todas las grasas que tienen, y toda la batalla se hizo en contra de la grasa en general. El problema es que la grasa es un componente muy importante de la comida, en especial de productos animales, que son importantes para todo el mundo, no solo para energía, pero también para procesos bioquímicos, digamos, hormonales y de regulación de todo tipo dentro del cuerpo. Cuando sacaron todas estas grasas de sus productos, pues sigo usando el ejemplo del yogurt, no nomás lo quitaron y lo desgrasaron, pues lo que hicieron es que pues, sabe horrible sin toda la grasa, que es lo que también da bastante sabor. Lo que hicieron es que los inyectaron de azúcar o azúcar falsa, estos sustitutos de azúcar que tampoco son tan buenos y sobre los cuales también hay bastantes estudios diciendo que no es bueno consumirlos en gran medida. Entonces les empezaron a poner azúcar, pero no cualquier azúcar, sino que lo que se llama fructosa, high fructose corn syrup, jarabe de maíz alto en fructosa. Empezaron a usar eso en vez del azúcar, porque el azúcar, número uno, es bastante cara de producir ya en cantidades masivas, de azúcar normal, pues de caña o de agave, o etcétera, pero también porque había una sobreproducción de maíz en Estados Unidos y en varias partes del mundo. Se dieron cuenta que lo podían destilar y procesar al punto de que se volviera también un azúcar, quitarle la fructosa al maíz y usarlo ahora como aditivo en vez de tener que usar azúcar, que normalmente no les conviene en sus procesos de producción. Entonces, lo que hace esto es que actúa como azúcar, pero también cambia las formas en las que tu cuerpo recibe y remite la energía y el tipo de energía que saca de normalmente la glucosa y fructosa. Esto lo sé porque me interesó mucho por mucho tiempo la nutrición y he hecho de todo, he hecho paleo, keto, etcétera, y ahora nada más como normal, como casi lo que quiero, pero tratando de evitar pues justamente comidas ultra procesadas, aunque pues sí, a veces me tomo un Monster, nadie es perfecto, que es pésimo para la salud y lo sé. Pero entonces decir, por ejemplo, y lo veo mucho también aquí en México, pero también cuando vivíamos en Canadá, toda esta batalla todavía contra las grasas y las grasas saturadas y trans y mono y tri, etcétera. Eso ya ha sido desmentido muchas veces en documentales, en investigación, bueno, es que me hace señas y no sé qué quiere. Entonces, si no se sabe realmente de qué va o por qué se les está pidiendo a los niños, a los maestros, a los papás que empiecen a pensar más en nutrición y en qué sí es nutritivo y en qué no, y también si no se está hablando con hechos reales y fuera de todos los intereses corporativos por parte de empresas, etcétera. Entonces no sirve de nada porque se vuelve más bien como un reto para los niños y a veces hasta para los papás de decir, no, el gobierno me está diciendo que haga esto, voy a hacer lo contrario y pues terminamos en lo mismo. Y esa era una historia. Y ahora la siguiente historia rápido antes de irnos a inglés. Quería hablar sobre Marine Le Pen, la líder de extrema derecha francesa. Fue hallada culpable de malversión de fondos y no podrá presentarse a la próxima elección presidencial. Esto pasó el día de hoy y nada más lo quería traer porque es un ejemplo más en el cual estos líderes que son denominados de ultraderecha, pues nada más de derecha o conservadores, y uso de ejemplo a Donald Trump, también hablamos sobre Conor McGregor, hemos hablado sobre Maxime Bernier en Canadá, todos estos líderes que según esto son lo peor de lo peor, también se está viendo que hay una tendencia por traer procesos judiciales en su contra, ya sean verídicos o no, y de tratar de bloquearlos, de tener cualquier tipo de influencia política por lo preocupante que es que suban al poder, cuando es porque realmente los ciudadanos están buscando y pidiendo casi a gritos una alternativa de lo que han tenido con normalmente todas las políticas más globalistas y progres y digamos liberales en pues, todos estos países. Entonces ahora lo que pasó es que la líder del partido de extrema derecha, no se asusten con esos términos y ni se los tomen en serio, nada más es una forma de asustar pues, al público en general, porque la ultraderecha fue declarada este lunes culpable de malversión de fondos europeos para financiar su partido. tribunal francés decidió inhabilitarla para ejercer cargos públicos durante 5 años con efecto inmediato, lo que quiere decir que ahora no va a poder presentarse ni postularse como candidata para las elecciones presidenciales francesas en 2027. Y además de la prohibición de cargos públicos, fue condenada a 4 años de prisión, 2 de los cuales serán suspendidos. No se sabe si entrará en prisión o si tendrá otras restricciones, como el uso de un dispositivo electrónico de localización, o se hace que la traigan checada por todos lados, y recibió una multa de 100,000 euros. Y ni se presentó ya al final a que le leyeran sentencia porque pues considera que es ridículo. Puede que estén escarbando y tratando de buscar formas de tener procesos judiciales para poder tirar a sus oponentes ahora que ven que ha tenido pues muchísima popularidad, no solo la ultraderecha, pero más bien regresar en términos conservadores o nada más de derecha normal o de por lo menos no extrema izquierda y globalismo. Ahora que ven que el público sí está interesado en todas estas nuevas propuestas y nuevas formas o viejas formas de hacer de liderar un país, y que ven que hay gente que está detrás de estos movimientos que están siendo impulsados por el público en general, que ya está harto de lo que les han estado dando. Entonces, pues lo que hacen es tratar de buscar la mejor forma de tirarlos, y muchas veces es usando procesos judiciales del país, a veces acertadamente, a veces no, a veces con pruebas y a veces ni siquiera. Y una vez más lo vimos con Conor McGregor, con el gobierno de Irlanda diciéndole que por crímenes de odio ahora va a ser investigado y que no quieren que se vuelva candidato a presidencial tampoco. Con él no sé si estoy de acuerdo o no de que trata de hacer eso en Irlanda, aunque tiene propuestas interesantes sobre migración, por lo menos. Con Donald Trump, obviamente, vimos todo el proceso judicial larguísimo y básicamente la correteada que le dieron tratando de buscar y a veces, pues sí, inventarse cosas que ahora han salido a la luz que o no eran ciertas o no tenían pruebas suficientes, o que sí, pues literal, nada más se inventaron. Entonces seguimos viendo que los países que normalmente denominamos como de primer mundo, digamos, son igual de corruptos, igual corretean a los candidatos con los que no están de acuerdo, igual tratan de no dejar subir al poder a sus oponentes, pero lo hacen de forma más formal, digamos. Entonces, pues ahí la gente se da menos cuenta, y también, pues, usando insultos como ultraderecha, como nacionalista, cristiano, etc. Entonces, pues sí, quería hablar de esas dos cosas, y quiero seguir hablando sobre la comida, que me interesa mucho, y lo que viene dentro de la comida. Y, espérenme, los componentes que se usan en la comida, sobre lo que se... No sé qué quiere que haga, estoy cambiando de cámaras. Entonces probablemente haré un video sobre, pues sí, todo eso. Voy a leer comentarios antes de irnos a hablar en inglés sobre noticias culturales en YouTube, y luego más sobre política en serio, política internacional en RUMBLE. El link correcto ya está por allá abajo. Hoy andamos pues lunes, andamos despistados por todos lados. Entonces voy a leerlos. Gracias por todos los comentarios. Luis Medina Sánchez dice: hola, apenas me cargo el chat, pero aquí presente y compartiendo contenido del canal. Muchas gracias, como siempre, aunque callado. Dejo mi like, muchas gracias. Adrián Arias dice: Jason Statham es el nuevo Bruce Willis. Pobre Bruce Willis también, que pues ya anda medio, le dio, tiene problemas neurológicos, bastante triste, pero parece que está bien por ahora, y estuvo apoyando a Demi Moore, aunque de Demi Moore no hablemos porque tiene que veres ahí medio encontrados. Adrián Arias, embotellada. Adrián Arias: en Ciudad de México hasta los 90 el agua salía potable del grifo. Pues yo no me acuerdo, pero yo no sé si me tocó o no, pero siempre, por lo menos para mí, y pues sí estaba presente en los 90, siempre ha sido que es mejor no tomar agua de la llave, pero pues tal vez, y se está acabando el agua en ciertas partes también, y no hay formas de procesarla de forma suficientemente rápido. Pero yo creo que los gobiernos hicieron negocio con las embotelladoras para bajar la calidad, así tener que comprar agua embotellada. Pues sí, con la expansión rápida, aún más rápida de la Ciudad de México, yo creo que también pues como que se les olvidó tratar de ver formas de hacer que el agua llegue, ya sea en tuberías, por arriba, o en el subsuelo, y pues nada más no siguieron tratando de hacer que esta fuera de forma purificada, digamos. Walker también decía que el gluten era malo y nunca entendió eso del gluten. No es que el gluten sea malo, de aquí también sé bastante, no es que el gluten sea malo, es que muchas personas tienen algún tipo de aversión a químicos que se usan para procesar el trigo en Norteamérica, porque por ejemplo, hay muchas personas que van a Europa o prueban pasta que viene de Europa y no les causa ningún tipo de insensibilidad ni intolerancia, pero con el trigo que hay en Estados Unidos en especial, en Canadá, en México, en todo Norte y Sudamérica, se usan ciertos tipos de químicos para procesar el trigo que pueden causar aversiones y sensibilidad en personas que antes no existían. Por eso salió de la nada, porque se empezaron a usar estos químicos más y más y más desde principios de los 2000 para incrementar la producción de trigo y más gente se volvió sensible al gluten y aunque no les crean, sí es cierto, pero no es por los motivos que normalmente creen o de los que normalmente se hablan, porque obviamente pues no hay que hablar mal de las grandes empresas productoras. Adrián Arias, yo soy keto carnívoro y estoy más delgado. Y sí, es muy chistoso cuando te dicen que no comas queso y que la carne es pésima y que vas a engordar por las grasas, bla, bla, y luego dejas de comer toda la porquería y más bien empiezas a comer carne de buenas fuentes, que no son ultraprocesadas tampoco. Pues sí, no puede ser keto ir a comer a McDonald's todos los días. Pero es increíble cómo tu cuerpo reacciona cuando le das comida y el tipo de energía al que normalmente está acostumbrado ancestralmente, digamos, y que ayuda a regular todos los demás procesos. Diplomatic Jack dice, la ultraderecha es el verdadero un fantasma que recorre Europa, frase que se usaba en el pasado para el comunismo. Pues sí, lo quieren hacer, o sea, quieren hacer que todo el mundo esté súper, ay, la ultraderecha, y todo el mundo es ultraderecha, y cuidado con esas ideas locas, que pues yo creo que a más y más gente le hacen más sentido, en especial con lo que vemos que hacen hoy en día todos los demás. Shield dice, ¿qué crees sobre los woke de Europa y Putin? Los dos lados me parecen bastante malos. Ahorita Guy es básicamente el experto en Rusia y Putin y todo eso y Europa, entonces ahorita le preguntamos en inglés y lo traduzco. Jax dice, ese tipo de muerte política que hacen los europeos se usan en Latinoamérica también por parte de la izquierda. Y sí, son tácticas que usa la gente que teme por perder poder y que están dispuestos a hacer lo que sea por no perderlo. Jessica Ramírez dice, a la población mexicana lo que le hace falta es una buena campaña de nutrición y no solo prohibiciones. Y sí, es lo que digo, o sea, hace falta más bien información de hoy en día, actualizada, no solo decir, no, la grasa es mala, todos los lácteos bajos en grasa, todos los lácteos, me choca ver que hay tanta leche deslactosada y que la lactosa es mala y que aunque no seas intolerante a la lactosa o baja en grasa, leche light, todo eso está repleto de azúcares añadidos que la gente no sabe y no está consciente, que termina haciendo lo mismo. O sea, el azúcar también te hace ganar peso y ganar peso. Te hace engordar y te hace te da una desregulación gigante en el cuerpo cuando estás tratando de procesar más azúcar de la que crees estar consumiendo. Adrián Arias, creo que ciertas razas son más intolerantes al gluten que otras. Puede ser también, pero sí hay un periodo de tiempo muy marcado cuando se empezó a usar más este componente químico, que el nombre es muy largo y no me acuerdo, perdón, ahorita luego lo investigo y hago un video sobre eso, cuando se empezó a usar más y más en producción, en especial de trigo, que se usa para alimentos ultraprocesados, y este incremento en la intolerancia al gluten. Pero sí, también puede, o sea, igual que con la lactosa, hay ciertas personas que son genéticamente más intolerantes a la lactosa que otras. Y ya. Pero bueno, ya me tardé mucho aquí debrayándome, ya son 25 minutos, entonces vámonos a la sección en inglés. Buenas noches, muchas gracias y nos vamos a hablar de cultura y luego a RUMBLE con noticias más políticas. Rápido, Jessica Ramírez dice, a mí sí me pasa que tengo cierta intolerancia con las harinas y los lácteos desde que era muy pequeña. Y sí, o sea, también el cuerpo de cada quien va a reaccionar diferente, pero también han habido muchas de estas intolerancias, también, por ejemplo, a los cacahuates en Estados Unidos, que no son rápidamente explicables nada más, no se pueden explicar nada más rápidamente diciendo es que a veces la gente, porque el incremento fue masivo, en especial a partir de los finales de los 80s, principios de los 90s y 2000s con trigo. Pero bueno, ahora sí ya nos vamos, porque si no vamos a estar aquí toda la noche nada más conmigo y se me va a ir de qué hablar. Entonces, there we go.
What did they say about Jason Statham and Putin? That's the two things I've seen in the comments.
So I was reading comments. Jason Statham, hold on. Jason Statham is the new Bruce Willis. And I just said quickly that I felt like Bruce Willis was great, but it's sad that he now has that neurological condition.
And they keep putting videos out of him with these conditions, and it's just leave that private. But yeah, I really like Jason Statham as far as new action heroes go. He at least looks the youngest of that generation.
But he's not. I didn't know he's 50-something. I looked it up today, and I was like, holy.
But if you see the other people, like Arnold Schwarzenegger and Stallone, they're like great-grandfathers. They look old. Jason Statham can really still pull off the tough guy action hero.
Also,
and
there's
not many people right now that can do that.
But the guy, the Venom guy.
Oh, yeah, Tom Hardy. And we're seeing today he's got a French bulldog that's just like ours.
It looks just like ours. Our nugget of joy. But I was also going to say, the thing is, also with male celebrities nowadays, they're trying so hard to make them, feminists and pro women and I'm just going to let the women do all our jobs because they're better than us. They don't attract a male audience because they're not longer males.
Well, and people do watch the interviews that these guys do, and when it's not socially acceptable to give masculine views, so they end up not being believable in the roles when they have them. Mm-hmm. Then somebody asked something about Putin.
Yes, translate your answer as well. It says, what do you think about the wokes in Europe and Putin? Both sides, I believe, are pretty bad. From S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah, I think Putin's actually keeping Eastern European non-woke. When you have a war at your doorstep, you don't have the ability to be woke or feminist. You need a masculine society in order to defend yourself. Mm-hmm. Same with Trump. Trump is turning a lot of these countries very masculine, like Canada and Mexico.
But Putin and Russia can go a little bit overboard sometimes.
I think Putin's pretty reserved. So,
he's old too now.
Putin used to be a lawyer, and so he justifies everything legally if you watch all of his things. So at least there's a logical justification for the things he's doing, rather than a lot of these Western European countries are just feminized and crazy. They do things
feminization of Europe,
based on emotion rather than logic.
Yes, which is a feminine trait. It's not bad, but it doesn't work when you're trying to do it in governance. Quickly translated. Because I don't know if S.H.I.E.L.D. stays for the English or not.
Oh, okay. That's fine.
So basically, at least por lo menos Putin está tratando de sacar un poco de masculinidad todavía. No se pueden pelear guerras si no tienes hombres masculinos que estén dispuestos a hacer el trabajo que deben de hacer. Y que ahora también en Estados Unidos parece que Donald Trump está tratando de revitalizar a su fuerza masculina y a su poder militar, y Europa, al contrario, continúa aplicando la feminización de todo el mundo, todos los conceptos feministas, y también tratar de mandar y regular a través de emociones y seguridad, cuando no, aunque sirve para las mujeres que piensan así, no sirve para tratar de controlar países.
Well, and religion plays a huge culture.
Y la religión tiene mucho que ver también dentro de Rusia.
Which is good. Okay.
Que es bueno.
We got a ton of stories today.
And we're already
an hour in.
Yes, it's almost.
Okay, so do you want to talk about the adolescence we did watch? I'm going to start with that.
Yes, hold on, because it keeps resetting.
Oh, yeah, you actually had an article for this one.
Yes, so Adolescence, the TV series, available to stream in all UK secondary schools. An initiative backed by Prime Minister Keir Starmer. We must tackle the issues this groundbreaking show raises. The problem is it doesn't talk about the actual issues that are plaguing the UK. But we watched it.
Yeah, I watched it, and you kept telling me to watch it, and then we finally watched it, and it was an amazing series. The things they were doing were very
technologically, it's
innovative.
Yeah,
it was all
cinematography wise.
So it's all filmed in one take. They filmed each episode like 13 times in order to get the best take they could. And then on one part they had the camera handheld and they seamlessly mounted it to a drone and it took off, and then they demounted it from the drone to get a single shot. And I watched the behind the scenes for them to do that. It's probably one of the best technical Netflix series that they've made so far. Yes. Problem is
and the acting is really good as well.
Acting was phenomenal.
Because I mean, it's actors that are basically they're in a play because there's no stopping. They can go, like, they switch characters and the camera follows different people, but I mean, in the end, you're acting for like an hour and a half straight without pausing.
Oh yeah, but there was the propaganda did ruin it for me, and they didn't bring it. They didn't bring it in until later, so they kind of suck you in. Yeah. But even with the propaganda, I have to admit it was a good movie. Yeah. But it
was innovative and it was interesting.
Well, and I'm able to think for myself, and I can critically think, and other people that watch it hopefully can critically think.
Yeah. But not the UK government.
Oh, God. The UK government is going to love a series like this. This is a dramatized series.
Because, I mean, there's not really any spoilers we can give.
Well, it's not based on reality, first of all.
No, it's not based on a real story. A lot of people think it's based on a true story. It's not.
But the UK government's acting like it is.
The writer came up with it. And it basically centers around the ending of the life of a young girl. And it ends up being this 13-year-old boy who, according to the series, has been radicalized by far-right and incel groups online.
Yeah, so basically it looked more like it should have been about bullying, and it would have really been solid, but they try to really link it with online indoctrination of the manosphere and the red pill community and Andrew Tate. And if they would have just left it at bullying, it could have been okay.
Yes, but it's also trying to address an issue, as it says here. It's trying to address a problem in the UK where there's a lot of crimes with knives. Because, I mean, guns are banned in the UK. So there are a lot of crimes that go on.
Yeah.
And the statistics have skyrocketed, but it's trying to point it towards the wrong demographic of people that are actually doing those crimes in real life. And they're trying to explain it away by saying, oh, it's all the white, horrible men and teenagers that have been radicalized online. When, I mean, the UK, funnily enough, doesn't publish statistics of crime, like, broken down by demographics, but it's not the white teenagers that are doing all the knife fights.
He comes from a two-parent household, a well-to-do two-parent household. He's got a good relationship with his mother. He's got a good relationship with his sister and his father. So it just statistically didn't make sense that this kid was going to do what he did. I don't want to ruin it too much, but if you haven't seen it, I do recommend seeing it, even though it is a lot of feminist propaganda in there. But we are going to make a video on it. So if you do want to know more about it, you can watch that. And let's go on to the next one, which was Jason Statham.
Sure. I wanted to bring up some other stuff, I will bring it up when I make a video in Spanish about the series, which is planned, and we will do it.
We're going to film it probably tomorry.
Yes, so because there is a lot of things I want to talk about and a lot of the propaganda that they put into it as well. Hold on. I opened a bunch of tabs about it. And now I can't find the Jason Statham one. There we go. Okay, so Jason Statham's A Working Man leads box office with 15.2 million. Snow White collapses with 66% decline.
Yeah, and before this weekend of upcoming theaters, a lot of people were predicting Snow White would be the #1 movie, even though it wasn't doing well in the box office the first week. They just didn't think this Jason Statham movie had anything in it. And come to find out, people do want to see masculinity. They do want to see classic action movies, and they turned their back on Snow White. Snow White had one of the biggest drops for a second weekend for a Disney movie in a long, long time.
And I haven't watched it. I kind of know what the movie's about. It's basically like it follows the main premises of like Taken. And
but
the daughter is going to take revenge, and be it CIA, FBI, whatever, agent goes out for one last time to take revenge upon people. But, I mean, again, it's an action movie focused around a male
a strong male lead, and it's called Working Man. So it just the title alone implies blue collar masculinity, which is good. So I'm glad.
I haven't really heard any like wokeness in it. Maybe there is, but I haven't. I think he's employed by Mexicans in a construction company.
Yeah.
I think, but I mean, I think that would be
normal.
Most of it, yeah. Like the wokest they could get. But I don't know. Maybe
the movie cost $40 million to make, and it's definitely going to make its revenue back. Statham typically makes around $40 million movies, and they typically do pretty good in the box office. So congratulations to him, and let's move on to The Simpsons, I guess. So The Simpsons, there's clips going around online that are actually, a lot of people think they're AI, so it looks like they may not actually be true, that predicted Donald Trump's
end of life
on, what's next month? April?
In April.
April 12th, 2025. So that's coming up. Even if it is AI based, somebody is putting this date out there of April 12th, 2025. And there is a lot of religious implications on this date. So it's going to be an interesting date to at least watch because it is coming up. But The Simpsons has got a lot of things right. And one thing they did predict was Ivanka Trump in 2028. And I have been talking about this. I think Trump's going to put Ivanka up for presidency rather than JD. And I would really like to see JD Vance in 2028 rather than Ivanka. Especially, I don't like Ivanka's husband, Kushner. He's just
Jared.
Yeah. Well, do you have anything about this?
Well, I was quickly looking into it when you put it on the topics list, and I was like, everything's coming out from either debunking it or saying, or most of the news outlets, let's just say that were reporting on it, were Indian news outlets. So I theorized, maybe it's a crazy theory, that it might be either bots or Indian chatbot farms kind of bringing up and making up things that they then report on their like India News Daily, and India Today, stuff like that, because they're reporting on things that have been created by bots to then spread it across the U.S. or North America and make it into a topic. But I don't know.
Well, yeah, but when I was researching this, I did go through a lot of videos about things The Simpsons did predict that did come true. So there is a lot of things. And
yes, they have done that before.
So yeah. Anyway, April 12th is a day I'm going to keep an eye out for. So hopefully Trump doesn't leave the White House that day.
So in 12 days.
Okay, the next one is AMC. And we reported on a story the other week that 5,700 theaters had closed in the United States. This particular story revolves around AMC, Dolby Surround Sound Cinemas. They're going to build 40 more. I think this is not a major story just because they're trying to project that they're doing well because they're going to open 40 theaters, but thousands of theaters have closed in the United States and box offices just aren't doing well. They're definitely in a transition point from creating woke media to back to kind of normalized media for the masses. Also, AI is starting to play a big role in the things that are going to be played. So it's another transitional point for cinemas.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, because we're in Mexico, we do see people still going to theaters, still interested in movies, but I mean, coming from Canada, they were almost always empty. I mean, unless it was a big release like the Barbie movie and it was an event, it was really like a ghost town to go to see a regular movie because people just don't want to leave their houses, or they'd rather wait for streaming because of the cost. Or it shouldn't be a dying art form, the movie theaters, but I think it is important to foster that sense of community and to be surrounded by other people, all watching something and then discussing it maybe after.
Well, when I was young, I used to work at AMC Theaters in Orange County at the Block. It's a mall. At that time, it was the largest theater, and it had a special cinema where stars would kind of come in and watch the audience watch the movie. They also did audience review movie of pre-screenings and things like this. Because I worked there, I got to watch movies like a week before they came out because you would have to screen the film to make sure there was no defects with it. So I really did enjoy that job, but it was a shitty paying job. Okay, let's go into the next story here, which is...
But it fostered your love for movies.
Which yeah, and I also worked at Blockbuster.
Good.
Like, I did a lot of things where I loved movies. Just to be around movies, I would get jobs to do it. And now I'm talking about them.
Yeah. And maybe eventually one day making them. That's the goal. What?
Well, I'm making Talking Head.
Right now. But I mean, you produce everything still, so...
Okay, let's go into the next one.
Michael Mann says he just finished Heat 2 screenplay and handed it to Warner Brothers. Any more than that, I can't talk about.
Absolutely loved Heat 1. If you haven't seen it, watch it. It was a phenomenal cast, especially at the time. Not just the headliners, but man, every role they just nailed for the casting, and the action was phenomenal. Hopefully part 2 is going to be as good, but I don't know. I don't know if they can find that magic again. That was pure magic in that movie. Braveheart's my all-time favorite movie, but Heat has to be a close second or third. I absolutely loved it.
What's it about?
So if you remember, you probably won't remember. There was this huge Hollywood shooting where these guys robbed a bank and they wore body armor, and the cops just couldn't take them down. And it was this huge shootout. So this movie revolves around a detective and a bank robber. Robert De Niro and Al Pacino are the two main leads. Val Kilmer's in it, along with just a star-studded cast, but not only a star-studded cast, the people that weren't stars really fit the role, the look of the role, and their acting ability was extremely high.
And I think we do have, because I saw the comments, someone talked about, So Adrian Arias, first, tu papi Rafa says Kushner is really sinister. Yes, he is. Because Adrian Arias, I read really quickly Gibson. He said it. I think with Gibson, Stallone, and Voight at the front of an anti-woke commission in Hollywood, we're seeing the first results. So, yes.
Yeah, and it's a shame what happened to Val Kilmer. Val Kilmer was in Heat 2. He got throat cancer, so he was in Top Gun.
Heat 2?
Oh, sorry, Heat 1.
Heat.
But he got throat cancer, so he kind of ended his acting career. They did throw him in Top Gun as kind of a nod to him, so that was really nice. They did do that. Mm-hmm. But yeah, there is this emergence of anti-woke Hollywood, and it's real people that are within that group. It's not like traditional leftists that are trying to just cash in on this thing right now. I'm sure those people are going to be on the way soon, though.
Yes. Zack Snyder to direct Brawler, teaming up with Dana White's UFC and Saudi minister Turki Al-Sheikh. I can't say that name.
Al-Sheikh.
Sure.
So I really like this coalition that they have going. Dana White and Turki Al-Sheikh work very well together. When the UFC and the Jibby Jab came along, where people couldn't leave their house, they kept Saudi Arabia open specifically for the UFC, so the UFC was able to broadcast at that time.
But what does it mean, the involvement with the Saudis?
That's what I'm talking about right now.
I know, but is that a good thing?
Oh, yeah, it's definitely a good thing. The Saudis are taking over sports right now, and they're putting on the biggest events. They can pay for it, and they don't really care what the price is. They're not doing it to make money. They'll lose money just to have all eyes on Saudi Arabia. So they've been making some really good events. Now, they already have a good relationship with Dana White and the Sheik, and they've done really good things together. They also were able to do the Noche Libre in Las Vegas at the Sphere, which they lost money on, but Dana White went to the Saudis and asked him for advertising money, and they gave it to him, no questions asked. So I think just between Dana White and the Sheik, they're building a good economic relationship to do things that may not be profitable, but that are good for kind of the culture. So hopefully this movie's going to be good, and the director's pretty good himself.
Yes.
So good. I think this could be the start of a good business relationship for future Hollywood movies. And the movie's Brawler. So
I was going to ask, what's it going to be about?
Oh, I'm guessing it's going to be. Remember the Tom Hardy fight movie they made?
No.
Something similar to that. It's obviously going to involve fighting because the Sheik is a huge fight fan. Dana White runs the UFC and he loves boxing. So
and it's called Brawler.
And it's called Brawler. Yeah.
Fighter, basically. Okay.
Okay, so maybe you can talk a little bit about this one.
Why?
Because I've been talking a lot, and the people don't like me.
People do like you. They keep asking you to answer questions. BBC annual plan details content funding woes, truth focus at challenging time for democracy. The BBC faces an unprecedented content funding challenge, the broadcaster said, detailing that content spending for 25 to 26 is set to fall by 200 million. It might be because they're making everything woke and gay.
Well, yeah.
Like South Park would say.
Oh, and also their funding's dropping 200 million. My eyes are on USAID and funding not coming out from NGOs and things like this to make woke propaganda. And like these countries like the UK and Ireland and all of Western Europe and Canada, if this funding stops for this woke propaganda to put it in absolutely everything that comes out, what little they have left of the masses is kind of going to fall away.
Yes. And also, I mean, they keep trying to break iconic properties like Doctor Who, bringing in a gay black doctor now who all he wants to do is twerk. And they've done that also with a lot of other iconic TV series and shows, and with the hiring that they've done also at the BBC. So, I mean...
200 million is a huge drop, though, so I'm gonna...
But it might be a good, time for them to reflect on what they've done.
I don't
know.
The
BBC is
because we
state funded, technically.
When we go to the Green Monster, that's RUMBLE, for the second half of the show where we talk politics. There's some stories about the UK, and they're not backing off of this, and they just keep going more and more woke.
And I mean, we've seen it, and again, we'll talk about it more on the video I make about adolescence, but I mean, Keir Starmer, who is the prime minister, and all of the parliament are trying to make an example with that movie for a problem that is basically non-existent, or at least it's targeting the wrong demographic of the people that are actually doing those crimes.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they're trying to hide everything they've done wrong, which we can't talk about here.
I don't know how they're trying to propagate escalating a war, the UK and Keir Starmer, and at the same time, this feminized woke culture. Mm-hmm. The two don't mix. You're going to either have to go one way or the other.
Yes.
I don't agree with either way. But,
no.
Okay. Next, we got France.
France's antitrust watchdog fines Apple for problems with app tracking transparency.
Yeah, and we do got some good stories on the political side of this, the second half of the show about France. They're doing some crazy things as well. But for this particular thing, they're worried about tracking. I mean, I don't know. The EU is doing nothing but tracking of their citizens through CCTV, through making Apple open up a back door to all their phones. So, France is trying to play both sides of the coin here. It's only okay if the government's doing it, I guess.
So France's antitrust watchdog fined Apple 150 million euros on Monday over a privacy feature protecting users from apps snooping on them because its introduction resulted in abuse of competition law. The French Competition Authority said the aim of Apple's app tracking transparency, requiring iPhone and iPad apps to ask users for permission before tracking them, was not in itself open to criticism, but it ruled that the way in which it was implemented was neither necessary nor proportionate to Apple's stated objective of protecting personal data. So they basically wanted to keep allowing ads and stuff and tracking within apps of your movements to go sell you things, saying that is anti-competition for some reason.
Well, I don't like the fact that Apple's doing that type of tracking and things like this.
No, Apple has a feature that lets you not get tracked by other websites and other things. And what France is saying is that by using that, Apple is basically engaging in anti-competition because it's blocking any kind of ads or any kind of targeting that can be done to people.
They've been targeting Apple hard. Each government seems to be taking their turn. First, it was the UK saying you have to make a backdoor into your messaging app so we can read all of the messages if we request them. Apple said, well, that feature is not built in. We don't even have the ability to read somebody's messages if we wanted to. And now they're making them build in a backdoor if they want to sell cell phones in the UK. Now France is coming after them. I think they're just targeting an American company, and I think Trump needs to kind of step in and say, you need to stop targeting American companies. If you do, there are going to be tariffs or some other kind of threat.
Yes, and speaking of targeting, something that the U.S. is targeting is Disney, because the FCC chair opens investigation into Disney and ABC over DEI practices. The FCC is the Federal Communications Commission. I always want to say trade for some reason, but so essentially what they're doing is saying that Disney, and by extension ABC, which is owned by Disney, Are their practices of DEI hiring and of hiring only based upon race are, not good.
Well, this also goes in. They give specific examples. I was watching a little bit about this article. Every black employee that worked for Disney was forced into
an affinity group.
An affinity group called Wakanda, which is a fake black country that exists within Disney based upon their Wakanda Forever movie. And now you got special benefits if you were in that affinity group, so nobody was complaining about being in it. But giving special benefits to one group over another, I don't like. Number one, but number two, forcing every black employee into this Wakanda Forever affinity group is crazy.
Oh, from just Black Wakanda. Panther, not Wakanda. But something that they might run into trouble with, something the FCC now might run into trouble with, is that the FCC essentially can just control like radio and telecommunications, and Disney with the affinity groups, for example, or their hiring practices went far beyond just their television content or their radio content, which is essentially non-existent nowadays.
They're also
Brendan Carr is trying to do something about it because Disney is one of those big companies that, are a good example of how terribly DEI can be implemented within a company and the worsening effects that it can have for, all of its production. But at the same time, does the FCC have jurisdiction over the parts of the initiative that they're trying to bring down? Do they have enough power over it? I think they might not.
Over the ABC broadcast?
Lawyers think that they might not.
Over the ABC broadcasting side, yes. Over Disney, probably not. Mm-hmm. But it's not so much about winning the case. It's about signaling to Disney, you need to stop doing these DEI woke craziness. This isn't the first time the new Trump government signaled to them. Disney wants to merge with another company. I believe it was ESPN. Mm-hmm. And they said they're going to attempt to stop any woke companies from merging. Woke companies, as they start to die off, are going to start merging together in order to try to move forward.
Yes.
And the U.S. government said they're going to attempt to stop that because they have to approve any mergers of companies.
Yes, in a letter to... I hate it when they tell me that. Go away. In a letter to Disney CEO Robert Bob Iger, the worst one, Carr said that the FCC's Enforcement Bureau will review whether Disney or ABC have violated any FCC equal employment opportunity regulations. They did with the whole dwarves situation, but he added that the probe will apply to both past and current policies. Numerous reports indicate that Disney's leadership went all in on individuals' forms of DEI discrimination a few years ago and apparently did so in a manner that infected many aspects of your company's decisions. He wrote on Thursday, the inquiry comes after Disney scaled back its diversity efforts, either by dropping certain initiatives or softening language around DEI or just changing the word for DEI, but they're still doing it. They now call it Bridge.
And we have to remember Nelson Peltz and Elon Musk are looking to do a hostile takeover, or at least they were. So I'm sure they're still looming in the background. The thing is now Musk is highly connected with the government, and the government seems to be coming hard after Disney. I don't really agree with that collusion, but if it's going to change Disney, well, I'm not going to say anything too much about it.
I think they'd have to essentially just get rid of their entire board of directors almost and their entire staff for any real changes to happen, because we've seen how right now they're trying to go underground exactly by changing, for example, the word DEI for bridge, but it still means diversity, equity, inclusion.
Yeah, if they went hard away from this woke culture and really just went back into classic script writing, their classic movies, re-releasing it, really went hard into normie culture again, people would embrace Disney again. Right now, they're tainting everything they touch. Star Wars, they've completely destroyed that world and that franchise. The Marvel Universe, you seem to believe this new Avengers movie is going to do something.
I'm not saying it's going to do something. I'm just saying they're trying to attract more eyeballs, and at least they're bringing in, people. I think they're trying to say, oh yes, we did wrong by trying to feminize and make women out of all of these iconic characters. Now look at them, they're back.
No.
So I'm saying some people might be happy that the old beloved characters are coming back, but I'm not saying it might do good or bad. I'm just saying they're doing it as fan service.
Yeah, it looks horrible. They're putting too many characters in one movie.
Yeah, there's not going to be time for any of them to be on screen, but
I can't wait for that movie to fail. Okay, let's go into the next one.
Speaking of movies failing.
We kind of already...
Yeah, we kind of talked about it. But speaking of movies failing, Snow White drops 66% in ticket sales. Still on screen, though. So I don't owe you money yet. Because I said that they're going to leave it in theaters for a month and a half. They just might not make money.
We didn't bet a month and a half. We bet it would make $100 million, and it's not
we bet
domestically.
A month and a half.
No, we didn't. We said we'll rerun the video. It was
we'll
on live.
Go watch it on the
people
past
know.
live.
The people see.
The people. Yes.
What I was going to say is it looked like it was going to have a box office drop of 70% on Sunday when I was reading the article. It recovered to 66%, which is still a huge drop. They're going to want to get this thing out of the cinemas as quick as possible because channels like ours and WDW Pro are going to talk about it every weekend and how horrible it's doing. So she was saying that it was going to stay in theaters like The Lion King and try to recoup its
Mufasa,
money.
Yes.
I don't think it's going to try to recoup its money with a 70% drop almost. It can't. It's just taking up theater space and it's losing the theater's money.
Okay. I'm going to be right. I'm always right.
Oh, okay.
Kim Delaney, NYPD Blue actress, arrested after alleged domestic dispute. I don't really know much about this.
I put this in there, and then I was researching. Supposedly, she beat up her. I can't remember if it was a husband or a boyfriend, pretty bad. So yeah, this issue is not talked about a lot in the media because the majority of domestic violence actually happens on men or women on men. It's just not reported and it's not really taken seriously because the implications aren't as severe. When it's the other way around, the implications are much more severe. I have no problem saying that.
Yes, because men are more powerful than women, which apparently we can't say anymore, but they are.
Yeah. So, yeah.
What do you read about it? Because I don't know much about it. Okay. Kim Delaney, best known for her roles in NYPD Blue and All My Children, was arrested over the weekend. Said Delaney was arrested at her residence on Saturday on suspicion of ASSUALT with a deadly weapon. She is still in custody. Partner was arrested on suspicion of misdemeanor spousal battery. Posted bond was released. She was arrested in 2002 on suspicion of drunk driving and pleaded no contest.
So also, I'm thinking this has a lot to do...
she has a 15-year-old son.
And this probably has a lot to do with alcohol, domestic violence situations. Violence in general usually occurs when drinking's happened, and she has a history of it. So
yeah, apparently...
If she could have put the bottle down, you're able to think a lot more clear-headedly.
Apparently, in 2005, the star lost custody of her then 15-year-old son after he testified that his mother endangered his life by driving under the influence of alcohol, drunk with him in the car.
Yeah, I used to drink a lot. I haven't drank in years now, and I don't have the same issues I used to have when I drank.
Yeah,
it's funny.
We're both sober. I don't drink either.
You've gone almost 10 years. How long have you
for 10 years almost. Yeah, nine and a half now.
Okay.
So yes, I think everything gets better when you stop drinking. Your entire life.
Except my back. That seemed to fall apart when I stopped drinking.
Yes. Prince Harry lost charity venue due to Netflix crew request, claims battling chairperson.
Yeah, so this is going to have a lot. Has a lot to do probably with Meghan Markle, I'm guessing, because she's absolutely...
Everything has to do with Meghan Markle. Go watch my video if you haven't watched it.
Meghan Markle and Netflix relationship has just fallen apart and she's being blacklisted and they've canceled future series with her. And this is just showing further tensions between Meghan Markle, Harry, and Netflix. Mm-hmm. So if they're putting barriers up and canceling charity venues, the relationship must be really bad.
Yeah, apparently Netflix crew was to blame. Harry lost the venue, hired for his African charity, sent to bail because he wanted to bring a Netflix camera crew along with him. So basically use it as a PR opportunity to show how good he is. In an interview with the UK Sky News Morning, Dr. Sophie Shankunda said an opportunity for Santa Bales to do a charity polo challenge in Miami was ruined when Harry made the request to bring his Netflix camera crew along. About a month before the event was about to take place, Prince Harry called the team and said, "I'm doing a Netflix show and I would love to bring a camera crew so that I could include some footage in the show." The team called me and said, "Oh, Prince Harry made this request. We're doing the things." I said, you can't be doing things without seeking consent from the property owners, the sponsors, all the guests. Nobody signed up to be on a Netflix show, much less for Harry or Meghan.
Yeah.
So apparently it was all because he wanted to go televise how good he is, like his wife does. Like they both do. And people said, no, we're not interested in participating in your little narcissism
If
show.
the relationship was good, they would have found a way to do things. Yeah. But the ratings are bad. Nobody likes Markle. She's one of the most hated individuals online. We originally did the video about Meghan Markle because I wanted to test to see if people would watch stuff about her. And they absolutely love to hate that woman. Mm-hmm. And I can see why. I don't like her much at all either.
No, nobody likes her.
Okay, let's. We got 2 more stories here.
Yes, let's see how this looks.
And you still haven't canceled our HBO Max that we bought to watch the Oscars.
Because I want to use it to watch something.
Oh yeah, Friends. You own the whole box set, but you don't own a DVD player. So
yeah, because who owns a DVD player nowadays?
Well, now we own HBO Max.
And the OC. I keep hitting myself with the microphone. And the OC and a bunch of other things. Because I watch stuff while I edit videos to have stuff playing in the background. Max's rebranded logo and colors look very HBO. Max is trading its bright blue branding and logo, which was ugly, for a black and white color palette that evokes HBO's classic branding. They might be wanting to move away from them just being perceived as a streaming service.
Yeah, and going into, if you have a history and branding history and heritage, lean into it right now. Now is a good time to lean into your historical heritage.
People want nostalgia. People want to go back to a time when media and movies was better.
And if you made a mistake of going woke, it's a good way to signal we're going back to classic HBO.
Yes.
So, yeah, I like the move, but it's just a logo.
But you still want me to cancel it?
Yeah, definitely.
No. Not until I watch something.
How much did you pay for that thing?
It's not that much. It's what, 99 pesos?
Oh, okay, $5. That's not bad.
Yeah.
But you're probably lying to me.
No. How much is a Max subscription? I think it's like either 99 or 129, one of those two. Okay. It's not much.
Let's go into the last story here.
David Zaslav meeting with candidates to replace Mike DeLuca and Pam Abdi as Warner Brothers heads. The Warner Brothers Discovery CEO, according to Bloomberg, is having early and informal talks with potential successors as the studio has released a number of titles that have disappointed at the box office, including Joker, Folie à Deux, and Mikey 17. Mikey 17 because of ideological reasons. Mickey, sorry.
We did a video on it.
Mickey 17 because of ideological reasons. Folie à Deux from Joker because it's a musical and nobody wants to watch it.
Yeah, how did you go from Joker 1 to Joker 2 and just absolutely blew it? And then even, I might not be a Lady Gaga fan, but she did act very well in that country movie, so she could have done a good job, but why'd you turn it into a musical? The movie was absolute shit. But I mainly put this story in to talk about all these big movie companies like Warner Brothers, Disney. They're firing a lot of their executives. Amazon got rid of the position entirely and won't be rehiring many of these executives. So they're trying to slowly or fastly make the transition to what's coming.
Yeah, and to move away from the people that brought essentially disgrace to their studios, their properties, and the fans. Because for the longest time, they were blaming the fans. And now with all these quiet movements and removals of certain people, they might be trying to now actually blame the people who are to blame for it.
Yeah. Also, the AI is coming. So a lot of these executive heads are much older. They're going to want maybe not extremely young people, but people that aren't too old to bridge this transition into AI. I've been watching a lot of bigger movies that are incorporating AI right now, and there's a change coming. So
I don't love the idea.
It can be good for independent films because they can put high budget scenes they would normally never be able to afford to write scripts they would never normally be able to make.
And to use it as a proof of concept for studios. I mean, if you can have a fully finished film kind of using AI and then can be replicated with real people. But I do think there will be a move eventually from using all of this AI that will turn audiences back to reality, and people will be craving, like full stunts and full sets built.
Well, there's room in the market for both.
Yes, but I'm saying it actually might, in the end, end up being good for, practical sets, practical stunts, practical effects, because people will get tired of seeing the same, AI weird uncanny valley effects and things.
Okay. Well, I think that's it for YouTube. We're going to head over to RUMBLE.
Yes. And the link is down below. And we do have
quite a few
more comments. Yes. Thank you so much for all the comments, all the likes, for being here, for watching us. I wish in the Spanish section about the food I could have gone deeper because I have a lot of things to say.
Oh, that's the first story we're going to talk about over on the politics side.
Yes. So I will probably make a video about that because I think it's important information people don't really have. Especially here, I still keep seeing people saying, oh, non-fat is good and everything should be non-fat and light. When the reality is that it's covered in sugar.
And on Friday, I talked a lot about the emerging Chinese-American war that all the pieces seem to be coming together. There is another huge piece that just dropped today with Pete Headset. We'll talk about it over on the other site.
Yes. Luis Medina Sanchez says, here they named Heat Fire Against Fire.
Oh, Fire Against Fire.
They always name movies like the completely wrong titles for some reason. Heat? Fuego?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, because maybe they thought that sounded too, I don't know. But yeah, he's making fun of the name change. And then Adrian Arias says they completely destroyed Star Wars, not just Star Wars, Lord of the Rings, Marvel. Even like the Disney animation section is completely ruined now.
Well, even
Pixar, completely ruined. Everything's completely ruined.
Even when they do make something good with Star Wars, like I seen the trailer for Andor and I say, oh, this actually looks good. I'm not going to change my mind about Star Wars being shitty. I might watch Andor and say, okay, yeah, this one thing's good, but Disney has ruined the rest of the property. So it doesn't have any add-on effect to the rest of the universe anymore.
They ruined Doctor Who. They're going to ruin Harry Potter now. I need to make a video about the casting decision for the Harry Potter series. Yes, they ruin everything they touch. Tupapi Rafa says, I still own a VHS player and a Betamax. I mean, I do have a VHS player. It's just at my parents' house, and I don't even know if it works. And I have the DVD player extension thing for the computer, but I mean, it's a hassle to, bring it in and out and to find the box sets that I have.
We do have the background. We bought this TV for background purposes, for filming. And it's nice to have it now to actually watch a film once in a while. We watch.
It's like,
we rarely have time, but we watch Adolescence, and man, it was great to watch it on a big screen.
I got dizzy because of all the follow and steady cam they use because the camera is always moving, but yes, it was interesting, and it's cool to have a big TV. So yes, maybe I will go try to find the VHS player.
Although I'll say this TV wasn't the best. We bought it for filming, so it's not kind of non-reflective, so it doesn't give the best coloring when you want to watch it, but it's great for filming.
Yes.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's huge. Bringing it from Canada was a whole adventure.
Oh, it only fit in our elevator by like half a centimeter.
Yeah,
if it was any bigger.
Our elevator there and our elevator here was basically impossible to try to get it in and then out in the box. And it came by ship. So it was, all our stuff was literally shipped over, and it took months.
Okay, let's go through the questions because I think people
That was it.
Oh, that was it. Okay.
Yes. So thank you so much for all your comments. We will see you over on RUMBLE or the Green Monster, whatever you want to call it. Link is down below. I think it's the correct link. I'm pretty sure. Let us know if the stream restarts on YouTube because it's been happening for some reason and we're talking about things we can't talk on YouTube. Thank you so much for all your support. Oh, I also saw that Luis Medina Sanchez said your point of view about the initiative with food should have more people watching than just 9 people. Thank you so much. Again, I want to make a video so more people see it.
We wanted to clip it, but you messed up a lot on that article, and you did good on the Le Pen article.
I know. I messed up on the Spanish version because I got when I was talking about the food because I got so excited. So yeah, maybe now I'll just make it into a video instead.
We have 2 people watching on Rumble, so people are starting to go over there.
Thank you. So yes, we'll see you over on RUMBLE. The link is down below. Thank you so much. Bye.
Okay.
Hold on. Okay.
Okay, so let's start with the Mexican.
Well, hold on. I have to be.
Well, I got to talk to the people and keep